it's happening. At first, he goes, I really don't know what's available. I said, well, I said, I can't speak for the city, but it's like, if there's an expense or a force account, maybe we can share it. Then it was like, well, you get somebody we offer, but after that, he was like, email you, we'll see if we can get going on it.
Well,
And Mike Adler, of course, he's our AD. Okay, thank you. He's gonna work with me on that. Hey, sir, how you doing? Good. You too? Judge.
doing fine. How's Mike doing?
Yeah, that little thing here, you see that on my screen right here?
I was just telling him.
That corner there has a D.
I'll look when I get home.
Oh.
Right there. No, it's between the two
Same as what it
years.
was in
See right there?
2018, whatever that
Well,
It's a D.
based upon
This one doesn't.
Dealing with the railroad.
Listen, I
You have to look about and see
I'll
because
look at it tonight.
some coins are worth more money
What time
based
did
on
you get it?
my son's telling me that. Some of the coins are worth more money based on stuff.
A dollar amount for force account. So I can go there and see.
We're just gonna sit in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes like,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh?
So if you said that you
I will. I'll tell him, leave you on. Just good one.
I'll kick him with a good one. I gotta remember. No, just kick
Yeah, I left about 3:30 and I'll look at it tonight.
Well, both sides need to be done.
Or misprints or something
I
like that.
guarantee they've been down with because they just put that in.
Probably 4 years ago.
And no crossing there, but
on the electric meter.
they're saying there's
Victoria don't sound familiar.
No, Ben and
I'll look at it tonight, call you tomorrow.
Ben, Myrtle Beach, South
There was
Carolina.
a
Place to go, but I've been they're the most boring things you've ever
whole
seen.
thing is
also,
so far out of compliance of that.
I said it was a long ago. Let me tell you how this works. I will tie this up, and after I die, the people that take my place will come. That's out of the country. And after I talk to our legal counsel at the time, they kind of have to.
on center and then the HVAC. When the Board of Works approval, I think.
Railroads is big, bad.
Here we need the council and Board of Works signatures. I don't know the details about this yet.
I got more
Because we need Board of Works. It was a contract. Okay, welcome everyone. We'll call to order the City of Lawrenceburg Board of Works meeting for December 2nd, 2019 with a roll call, please.
Board Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Board Member Alan Calloway. Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Rick Clark. Here. City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
City Coordinator Brian Messmore.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements for this meeting? I don't have any for this one. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, which was November the 18th.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then we got an additional Board of Works meeting that was held on the 25th. I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. Thanks, guys. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
I passed out copies of November run totals. We had a total of 68. If anybody has any questions in regards to that, just let me know. Also, we finishing up Friday. We're going to test our vehicle machinery class. We were in for 3 weeks, so we take our state test Friday. So if you want to take the board on that. That's all I have.
Okay. Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. We've been looking for our next canine handler to take over Siri, and that's going to be, we decided it's going to be Greg Cannon as soon as he gets out of the academy. We'll move the cage over. We don't have to purchase anything but the concrete work, and those funds will come out of the canine fund. So we cover that pretty well. So he'll take over as soon as he graduates.
Okay. How much more time does Greg have?
The 27th, he graduates.
27?
Mm-hmm. That's on a Friday. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. EMS Director Rick Clark.
Thanks, Mayor. A few things. I did pass out the monthly stats for last month. If there was any questions, let me know on that. I want to thank board members for helping us on our recent hire, getting Brian Grubbs going. He'll be a great addition to our team. So thanks for getting that done. I'm going to be out of town this week, so in the morning until next week. So contact Chief here or Brandon Drake if you have any needs. 432 had a stretcher loading system failure. Wasn't with the patient on it afterwards. Stryker came down and fixed that, and that cost is going to be about $3,500. They had to replace the internal battery and had to replace the motherboard on that unit, which is about 8 years old. We have the funds to cover that, but I just wanted to let the board know of that spending to come. I see it's on the agenda. I'll go ahead and bring it up. We have a contract mailed to us from the county for EMS coverage for the following year. It's the same contract that was signed last year with the same funds. So I have that available for the Mayor, yourself, and Mr. Richardson to sign.
Okay. We'll approve that under new business.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay. New business, Mario Verdon Company Maintenance Renewal.
Yes, Your Honor, it's our annual maintenance renewal, and it's our discount if we act fast.
Of course.
The total price with the discount will be $22,800, and that's for 4 structures and monuments.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, sir.
On the very last one, Zion United Church of Christ.
Zion Church, that was a contract, I think, put in place back in the 70s. At that time, I think there was only probably one town clock, and that was the town clock. And the city entered into an agreement to maintain it.
That's tower clock, not a bell.
Correct.
And, I mean, do we offer anything like this to any of the other churches for bell
We have not.
care of?
We do help other churches, like the lighting, or, assist them with some fringes of help. But internal, this is the only church that we actually go inside and do maintenance. And again, that agreement, Tony may help me out, I think it was,
It's a
I
long
think
time ago.
we researched, I think it was back in the 70s.
And it's for the clock, not for the bells.
Correct.
I think that's our last surviving town clock, wasn't it?
I believe so. Like I say, at that time, yeah.
At that time, there were no other ones.
Okay, Mooch?
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Verdon Company maintenance agreement.
I'll move.
Second?
I'll second.
Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you.
That's all I had, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Weldon, the 2020 contract for EMS, this is for the county part of it, right, Rick, is what you were
Yes,
talking
sir.
about?
Yeah, for 911 coverage. Again.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. If it pleases the Board of Public Works and Safety, you have in your packets for consideration our 2020 contract with the county to provide to them emergency medical services in exchange for us providing those or the emergency medical services for the calendar year of 2020. The county pays us $20,000, and this is basically the same contract that we've passed the last 4 years.
Questions? Nope. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2020 contract with the county for EMS service.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion will carry.
Thank you.
And then we've got one to add for this meeting is the community center HVAC project. It says that we need council and BOW signatures, so I wanted to bring it up to you guys, but it's on the payment of it, of the claim. You guys obviously knew about that with the project and everything. It's just, I think we need to get your signatures, so we need your approval.
Okay.
So, any questions?
I don't have any.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the community center HVAC project contract that you have in front of you.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, old business. Mike Clark, 2020 Street Rehab Bid Award.
Thank you, Your Honor. The last meeting, we had the bid opening. We took it under advisement. Myself and the design professional both separately went through and reviewed both of the bids. Both of the bids were good, had all the required information. In the packet, you have the tab sheet and a letter of recommendation from the engineering firm. And their recommendation is to award Dave O'Mara for $655,728.30 based on price.
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
We've worked both of these companies now the last few years. Have they been pleasing, both of them been pleasing you guys?
Probably one a little more than the other, but the second one is attempting to improve.
Okay.
I'm pleased with the way the bids turned out on this one.
Yeah, all right. And I'd recommend we move forward, but if I hate to get in a position of where we take low bidder and get not as good work. So that's my point. But if you're okay with what we did here, then I'm gonna recommend we move forward.
Okay. All right, motion on the floor to move forward with the 2020 Street Rehab Bid Award. A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. I don't have any other old business. The LCC grant claim approval we just did already. I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Can I ask one question here? I should have did this earlier, but this is for Ryan. On the drug overdose, I noticed that during the months of May, June, July, and I know you're new in your job now, and then in September, there was some spikes. Do you have any idea why? I mean, is it just because of the weather and the Fall Fest or something that, you know, goes on?
I wouldn't necessarily relate that to any event in Lawrenceburg. However, the drug overdoses may also reflect a non-opioid event, someone that would take an intentional amount of their prescription medication. So that number may not just reflect the opioids, but others with that. A lot of times on the Narcan administration, Lawrenceburg police officers carry Narcan, and they get to the scene quicker than us sometimes. So we're not, you know, the patient is taken care of at that point. So I really can't tell you why September's 6 and October's 1, but other than maybe that's just the way it is, and we help other communities too. So
I was just thinking, you know, if there's a trend over the last few years or something, it might be something that we could
nothing
look
that we
into.
can really pin down yet. But
Mooch, we've looked at those, and if you look past, look back the last 3 or 4 years, there's no rhyme or reason for what months are larger than others. You were looking at June, July, and August, I think, or something, or
May, June, July.
May, June, July. I think last year, actually, we had a spike in January and February.
Really? Okay.
I don't know that it's anything related to an event,
Yeah.
like Rick was saying, but never know.
we've had
Okay.
patients 15 years old and 65 years old across all socioeconomic trends. It's
Okay,
just so
I just
spread.
didn't know if there's something that we could check into the trending and maybe get a grip on.
Wish, but thanks.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I needed.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I don't know why Parks was,
Did you do a motion for the claim?
yeah, we did. I don't know why Parks was omitted from tonight's meeting, but we'll go ahead and have Parks meeting. I don't know why it was on today. So. All right. I'd like to call to order the City of Lawrenceburg Parks Board meeting for December 2nd, 2019, with a roll call, please.
Board Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Board Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Board Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Board Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Dal Weldon.
Here.
City Coordinator Brian Messmore. President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements for this meeting?
I got a good phone call, actually several of them in the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to let everybody know, a couple of years ago when the sports complex came and we talked, we decided to possibly move the horse arena, and we made preparations, and I don't know if anybody's felt like that, you know, hey, we jumped too soon, but 4-H did not have their rodeo last year during the fair, but they've been calling me, and being how the rodeo is getting popular now, and we do have it set up, they're gonna have 2 of them this year. They're gonna have one on June the 27th, and there's gonna be one at a date to be named. And I told them that as soon as they get more things to bring it to Conservancy, we'd work with them any way we could, but there will be some more events in the park over there. So that's just came about here the last week to 2 weeks.
They're gonna have 2 of them?
They want to have 2, and it sounds good. That way it gets used more than once, and there's actually possibly some high school interest in it, maybe. So we'll just have to see. There's been several people call.
Your Honor, on that, I wasn't aware of the 4-H, but we do get a lot of high school kids and even junior high kids. I say a lot. We've had half a dozen or so who have reached out to us about their interest in forming high school rodeo. And obviously it's not anything we do as utilities, but we've tried to steer them back to 4-H and to the athletic coordinator or athletic director for the school. So.
Good. That's positive. All right, any other announcements? Did we have any?
Not in this packet.
All right, any new business for, parks? Nope. Anybody?
How about an update on the swimming pool, the splash park?
Not open.
How's it going now? It seems to be going pretty well,
Right now,
from
we're
what I
about a
see.
week, about a week and a half behind just due to weather. But next meeting, we're gonna have, Maxwell do a full update to the council, to the board.
Okay.
They've been working, but it's been, sporadic a little bit
Yeah.
because of the
I
weather.
mean, a week and a half's not bad. We can make that up on a couple good Sunday days, of course.
All right, any old business? Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'd like to call to order the City of Lawrenceburg Common Council meeting for December 2nd, 2019. Everyone rise for the pledge. All right, Mr. Richardson, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Aaron Cook.
Here.
Councilperson Mel Davis.
Here.
Councilperson Randy Abner.
Here.
Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr. Here. Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Rick Clark. Here. City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
City Coordinator Brian Messmore. Here. City Court Judge Joe Johns.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs, Mr. Cook.
No report, Mayor.
Finance, Mr. Abbott.
We're good.
Parks and playgrounds, Mr. Seymour.
Just what I said in the last meeting.
Okay, and fire, Mr. Abner.
One thing I got is to be safe with all their Christmas decorations and heaters, space heaters and stuff like that. But other than that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thanks. All right, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
All I have is I passed out the run totals for November. If you have questions, just let me know.
Okay. Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to let the council know that we've been meeting with High Point Health several times to discuss security plans between them and us. Just been going over armed intruders and prisoner patient plans and so on and so forth. So we're working with them and CMHC very well on this. I mean, we've been doing this for many years. It's going to take a while to get everything organized and exactly the way we want it, but we've been meeting with them and working things out. So that's all I have.
All right. EMS Director Rick Clark.
Thanks, Mayor. I passed out the run total from last month. If there's any questions, just let me know. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Judge Johns, City
Thank you,
Court.
Mayor. The Lawrenceburg City Court had 139 new cases filed in the month of November, which brings us to the year-to-date total of 2,688 cases filed.
All right, thank you. New business, I want to remind everyone at 6:45, we have a public hearing for additional appropriations for the final appropriations for the year, so we'll have to stop this meeting if we're not over by then. I don't have any new business. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. The LCC grant approval that we talked about in Board of Works, we need to get approval from City Council to pay that. That's from the Community Center HVAC. There was a portion that we had to come up with extra in addition to the grant money, as well as the community centers paying a portion of it out of their funds. So that's what this was about. Any questions regarding that? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Dearborn County Community Center HVAC grant numbers.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion will pass. Thank
A
you.
note on that, if I would. There'll be an updated breakdown for that grant project on the website tomorrow. It'll go up. So if you go to miscellaneous documents, you'll be able to see the breakdown as to what was spent, what it went to.
All right, old business.
Your Honor, I've got one thing. Mooch had brought up the light on the water tower, and I can't remember if it was in a Board of Works meeting or council meeting. Okay, so we looked into that. We do have a light that's on that. We have got a company that can come in and do that. Apparently, there's not a lot of them around that do that, and then the weather is something that prevents them from doing that with any kind of excitement. So we're waiting for a break in the weather and some time in their schedule to get them in here to change the light on that. Also, it was brought up about the 911 radio station that's in the building that's up there at the water tank. I talked with Andy Bondistel, and I'm in the process of drafting a MOU that I'm sure he'll redline and send back just to work up a mutually agreed upon relationship with them for the maintenance of the building ongoing.
Okay.
It's got some roof issues that need to be addressed and some things like that. So hopefully at some meeting in the future we'll have a document that we could agree on to kind of clean that up.
Okay. That light goes at the top of the water tower?
Top of the water tower, aviation light.
All right. Okay, any other old business?
I got a question, Mayor, and maybe we can make some comments. We got a little bit of time. Appraisals and property. I know I don't know if we got a plan or what'll happen, but I've got a feeling the next administration will deal with it. But I'd like to know where we're at with appraisals. We were gonna have a meeting, we were gonna do this and that, so where are we at? What's our plan with the property? I'd like for the new incoming people to know where we're headed with this, for them to get educated tonight, being as how we got a little time here.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a plan. But the appraisals, one commercial appraisal was back. The second one back as well.
We have two, we're waiting on a third.
And then we'll have all three appraisals to go by, because there's gonna have to be a decision made whether or not we're gonna sell those properties or keep them based upon the appraisals, I would imagine. Whatever makes the most sense.
About 2 meetings ago, we were supposed to set up a meeting because we had all the appraisals back.
We had two.
Okay, and I thought we made a decision we were gonna sell the properties.
I don't recall a decision being made, but that was gonna be discussed.
Now, will those go into city hands or will they go into redevelopment?
That'll have to, the council will have to decide that, because right now it's in council's hands.
I'd like to set up a meeting as soon as we do get those in. I mean, we've been waiting on these forever.
Well, commercial real estate appraisals are not, number one, it's hard to find somebody to do them. I think we had to reach out to a guy in Cincinnati to do the third one. Is that right? We got one local guy that did it, one local guy that started it. We thought he was gonna finish it, never did finish it. So we were waiting on him. And then we had to get a second guy to do the second one. And then the third one, we had to go outside to find a third appraiser.
As far as keeping them selling, I want to sell them myself. I mean, they're bleeding money. We just had to pay for the roofs because there wasn't enough money in the, to
Well,
pay for
you
it.
do know we'd have to pay for that anyway, based on an inspection.
Well, that's still, they didn't have enough money there to pay for it, so I'd like to get rid of it. We're not very good landlords. We never have been.
We can't sell a 100-year-old building as it is.
Good.
Sure we could.
I just hope
I just want to be fair to the current tenants. You know,
so
you know how that situation is.
I know, I just don't think the city should be in the landlord business. I'm hoping,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
okay. I just wish it would've moved quicker and we could've been on it, cause we're not collecting taxes and it's not a real good situation. All right, so that's being the next group's hands. Next group, we've been working on it a year. So, do your best. Counting on you. I'm a citizen, I'm a taxpayer. I'll be in the front row 4 years.
Okay. Any other old business?
I don't know, since we've got some time though, I'll bring it up in our old business. The other day, Santa Claus was in town, brought all his helpers.
Yeah.
And I heard there's a big overweight Santa too.
I heard a little bit about that last night.
But that's all thanks to Miss Canoe. I like where you stand up, Connie. And your workers, but you've done this. Thank you very much, Connie. Kids were happy.
We got just a little bit wet.
Yes, it was a bad day for it.
And that's why I was overweight, 'cause I was wet.
Santa's been telling us for months he's lost weight.
I tell you what, the fire department and the police department's done a great job every year.
Yep.
They help us out a lot, so that's a key, and a lot of kids, a lot of smiling faces.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Your Honor, I'd like to
Connie.
make a comment if I could,
Yes,
if you defer to old people.
old people.
All right.
Young people, doesn't matter.
I would like to say, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you, all you guys. We have disagreed on some things, we have agreed on some things, but we've always come to an agreement. And I want to just say thanks for the privilege of serving for 4 years, and thanks to whoever voted for me. I've enjoyed it. I hope I did a good job for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
See, now that I'm not a politician, I don't speak real long.
I like it.
Connie said good.
Yeah.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Yes, sir.
This, I hope I can get done by the cutoff time, but
You will be.
the reason is because this ex-mayor and he will have to comment on it. There's a problem with the lighting that was on the buildings before he put the cross lights on the city street. And on my building, it has released and it's hanging down, and some of the lights are broken. Some of the lights come on, some of the lights are not on. But I went around to find out what had happened in the past. And my understanding is that originally these Christmas lights or these white lights were put up there, and they were put up there by not by the city's electrical department, but by a contract, okay? And there were problems with that first batch that were put up. So when Mayor Carr was the mayor, he said that they're not gonna touch them, and they have to get repaired with an outside contracting firm. Okay, so they came in and they re-hooked them up, and supposedly they put, where they could set the time for when it got dark, they'd come on and that sort of thing. Then, when Olin came, is when they decided to put the cross lights are, which are a hell of a lot better than what was there. The idea that in the beginning, money was given by the city to Main Street, and they put the first batch up. But when there were problems, they came back to the city, and I believe Mel was the person that they talked to, and Mel contracted with a company to straighten them out. Yep. But it has been the position that these lights belong to the people who own the buildings, not the city. Yet the city did all the work, okay? Then, during this time, there was the fire, and all those records that supposedly people signed when the lights went up are in Never Never Land now. So it's my recommendation that if Olin's group doesn't want to do it, because if you go up on the roof, you might step on something, they might put a hole in somebody's roof, and all these reasons for people to come back and sue the city. I would like to see those lights come down. Okay. So I have no idea where they're hooked up to. Okay, if I'm hooked to the one building next to me, I can find no timers out there, no timers at all. But they're now hanging down the front of my building, and what I think is gonna happen is the wind will come, it'll blow them down, and then the electric will be on and some kid will step on them, and then we'll have another suit.
I'm glad you brought this up, Tom. We were in a staff meeting not too long ago, and we were talking about, they're along Walnut Street as well.
Yep.
Yes.
On top of the buildings. And I asked some questions about it, and actually Mario had filled in about how that came about. We can look into seeing how we can get those removed, because they all need to be removed.
Right.
I don't disagree with you, so we'll take a look at that.
I mean, I can understand not wanting to put city employees up on the top of buildings, okay? So there are other people that you can contract to get them down, but if you start taking them down, take them all down. I mean, not what Olin's put up, but the old stuff.
I agree.
Well, and to give a little context on it, when I was first approached about fixing the lights on the building tops, we sat down with Leslie Votan, tried to come up with some contractual language for the building owners that would release us from any obligations of leaks, problems with the fascia on the buildings, things like this, stuff that people could come back a year later and say, well, you must have done it because you were up there on the roof. And it was impossible to come up with language that the building owners would accept. And number one, we knew that the lights weren't put up through utility money, that we didn't have any real interaction with that. But what we did do is inspect all of the installations and found where the wrong type of conduit was used. It was broken, hanging, and wires were exposed that were electrified in a number of places. And so we had disconnected all the timers that we thought we had. We disconnected yours today after I got off the phone with you. They went and found it. So
I saw them. I didn't know what it was there for.
It won't be electrified anymore. We also did U.S. Bank across the street because I noticed it coming in this morning that they had lights on top of it, coincidentally. And so we disconnected those 2 timers. The other side of that is whoever did the electrical work in those boxes came directly out of the meter socket itself on the loads on the line side. So there's 2 illegal things about that. Number 1, you cannot serve 2 services out of the same meter socket. Number 2, it bypassed the meter, so it wasn't being metered at all. Right. All of those were that way except for one that was over on one of the buildings near Strong's. There is actually metered to some lady's apartment. And we went back and guesstimated the amount of usage and refunded her for that because she was inadvertently paying for these decorative lights without knowing. And so it was just kind of a mess. And so we chose, instead of participating in that mess, just doing a completely new installation on city property where we own the poles and we didn't have to worry about those kinds of issues.
There's no 2 ways about it that the lights that are put up on the streets are much, much better. But I think somehow they forgot that the other ones were there. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, if not, we've got another addition, the Dearborn Adult Center, finishing up that public facilities grant. There was some retainage that is got to be paid out, that we had kept back from the pool group, totaling $18,741.40. And then there's an overage of about $5,901 that needs to be paid. So total is $24,642.64. The $18,741 was part of the original grant.
I've got one question on that, and that's Aaron. Is your roof fixed? Does it leak anymore? Because I know it was leaking there for a while again. It still leaks. Wasn't that supposed to be fixed in this?
No, this wasn't part of the grant.
It was not his office.
Yeah.
No, we've had 2 or 3 contractors in there prior to even starting that job.
No, I thought they were supposed to fix this part too.
Unless
on
something
this.
had changed, it wasn't part of it.
No, it was not part of the.
Okay, so
grant.
it's not part of this one. Well, couldn't we get the people back who did that roofing to?
We've had them back, we've had 2 or 3 others back. Got one more supposed to go back.
All right. You just have to use an umbrella.
I think there was one leak that was part of that, but that was that AC unit that got replaced, part of that grant, back over the kitchen area.
Yeah.
That may be the one you're thinking of.
Any other
All right.
questions about this?
Nope, that's
Call
it.
center? If not, I'll entertain a motion to pay the remainder of the facility grants fund, or the amount.
So moved.
$24,642.64.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Budget appropriations hearing in 5 minutes.
I can see in your eyes.
We did. So I'll give one original back to the county, and then we'll keep an original at the clerk's office, and then once the county signs it, I'll get it back to you. So we should be good. That's fine. Well, it's,
I think Richard just had
Looks nice, but
yeah. There you go.
I'm telling you, hey, no, you can let the judge hear this. All you gotta do is quit jaywalking and cross at the crosswalk and they won't hit you.
Yeah, we'll travel for a bit. Got some work in my house.
No,
to do.
we don't, and
You
we
never know,
don't.
might
As far as you know, we
do
don't break it down
But
by
no,
units,
those are very.
even though there's that space there, and we didn't fill it in. We've never
What's
filled it
that?
in before. Okay, and then this is.
After a while.
You
I got a lot
tried
of work to
though.
do. So, I'll
Yeah,
be-
this is a different one, and we'll do this one and the 911 interlocal.
I do that.
So there's 3 too.
Get bored, I'll just go somewhere.
I'll hang on to this, and then we'll get you the signed copy. And that money will. You can ask Brittany how that money is distributed, but I think it goes straight into your fund. Okay. Thanks, Rick, very much. You got a cane or something?
I still have that down there.
Yeah. Did he?
She says it.
Where you go every day? Where you go, Beacon? Yeah, really. Yeah, yeah. What do they have to do? Like machine?
Oh, Martini does.
Rolled that one over the weekend. You got me a cigar rolling kit.
Oh, yeah?
I rolled that one. I had no idea for my birthday if I'm a human. Keep that cigar. Looks like a refrigerator.
I got you.
I didn't ever dream they would have come up with that. But I just
Martini's into it.
I don't smoke much. Kind of
hard to guess.
got 3 Cubans in there now that I brought back from Jamaica. Probably 5.
So they can save that one. Good.
When they see it come car, they slow fast.
Brought 6.
We went up to the McDonald's Day Parade.
Very smooth.
It's a huge parade. It's
I
as
like
big as
the
Macy
flavor.
Days.
I didn't know.
And it's like 4 hours long. And we just stayed in a hotel and ate dinner at an Italian restaurant.
Not good.
I've tried restaurant by Wrigley. And then the girls started shopping. So they had a blast. Cahill and I stayed in the hotel room. Played video games. Cahill. So they had a ball. It snowed lightly. It was beautiful too. And the hotel
All right, I'd like to call to order the public hearing for additional appropriations for December 2nd, 2019. This is a public hearing. If there's any questions, I believe it was posted on the website.
It was been advertised.
Advertised. So if there's any questions from the audience, we'd entertain those now. Okay, any questions from up here on the council?
Yeah, I got questions.
All right.
There's a rumor that's been going around for a couple months, and I know it's not true, and I want to put an end to it. People are coming to me asking and saying that we've overspent on the park. We were way above budget. I'm sure you've heard it, Kelly. So now, you know, and I've talked to the people in charge, and I have faith in them. They're good companies. They were good engineers. And time after time they came in here and we were on budget. I truly believe we were on budget, or very, very close. I don't think that's a false statement at all. That's what I have to say. But now, I'm gonna be in a position, because this is vague, this appropriation is very vague, and I'm gonna be told that these are, you know, that's this park. I can't understand why this is just now coming to me. We're asking for $5.3 million in appropriations.
Sorry, finish.
Now, I don't know who to ask the question to.
Can I
you
answer
or-
your Civic Park question?
Absolutely.
I'll answer the Civic Park question. Tomorrow morning, you'll go onto the website if you'd like to. There will be a December 2nd, 2019 update on what the Civic Park would be considered to be evaluated at as an asset. The remaining amount to be paid on that is a little over $200,000. That's coming in from Maxwell, and that would put the park with all of the, with everything it took to go into it. That's the design, the architectural agreements, everything that would take to produce that park. It would be around $7.9 million as an asset. Now, that doesn't include what would have been spent in the peripheral area. That would have included the buildings that were purchased by redevelopment, but that is a totally separate piece. You could look at it all together if you wanted to, but when we evaluate the Civic Park as an asset, it'll be around 7.9. And then LMU also had some additional charges that they incurred at the Civic Park. There's an earlier update from July 23rd that you can find on the website as well. That delineates the LMU contribution to the park as well as the redevelopment piece to the park. But if you go there tomorrow, you'll be able to see an updated spreadsheet that will show you some of the cost breakdown from Maxwell, some of the cost breakdown from Strand, and then the other miscellaneous charges that would add up from pre-development and development of the Civic Park.
Okay, so.
Now, didn't we add to the park bill also the, for Maxwell supervising the, row house, that last row house, the work to be done on there to
the
strengthen
Civic
it
Park
up?
bill?
Yeah, wasn't that,
Brittany, do you recall that?
wasn't Maxwell's bill added to the park because the building was right there next to the park and, you know, getting
That
it,
was when they did the work to the
strengthening it up or whatever you want
Make
to
it
call it.
safe.
structure.
Yeah, the structure. And we wanted Maxwell to watch over it, but that was your recommendation, Paul, if you remember right.
They made the working conditions safe.
Yeah, so
basically.
that was also added to the park, if I remember
They
right.
added those plates and such on the
Right.
side.
So that
Right.
would have increased the,
Right.
Maxwell's or Maxwell's piece of the Civic Park would have been increased then.
Then we wanted underground, you know, I just want the people in town to realize that we never spent 12. We didn't go way up like people were coming to me on. But this appropriation, getting back to it, you know, I go down here and it says, municipal development, major budget classification, other services charged, 300,000. I mean, is this an extraordinary amount for an end of the year? We've got, fund name Riverboat budget classification, 1.6 million. Guys, in order for me to okay this, I want to be able to tell the people what we need this money for, because I'm having a hard time understanding why December 6th is the date that I get this.
No, I can understand that, but typically, you guys do additional appropriations in June and then in December. I know we did it last year that way, we've done it this year this way, and I believe the previous 2 years when I was not involved in any of this, it was done that way too, correct, Brittany? Now, Brittany can go through each one of these if you'd like, and we can kind of break this down for you. Is that what you're wanting us to do? Or is there specific ones that you want an answer for?
If you got time to go through it, I'd just like to know how we fell short $5.3 million in a short amount of time.
Some of it's not short, some of it we've added to, like the LCC grant fund, that's coming out of this, that wasn't appropriated.
LCC grant, that's true. I believe this has the hospital.
$729,000 right there.
No. Brittany, can you expand on this for Paul?
Yeah, let's help me out a little bit here.
Help Paul out.
I'll just, you just go fund by fund. The first one, motor vehicle highway, that's, the budget was short for supplies. Brad said they had a lot of garbage truck repairs. Parks and Rec, personal services, that was, for summer help, we went over and budget for that. In our Fall Fest, we don't budget in our Fall Fest, so we typically wait and see if they go over what they spend out of Riverboat, how much they're gonna use in this fund. So they spent just about $78,000 out of DNR. UI and BCC, those are both grants that we get from the state. We don't really know what Captain Miller is going to submit, so we wait till the end of the year to see how much that's gonna be. Municipal development, that's the line we use for any kind of services, attorney fees, consultants. There's about the 1.5 is health insurance. Capital outlays.
Go back to health insurance. So we are 1.5, we missed health insurance 1.5. How?
Because we're self-insured. We have no idea what kind of catastrophes we're gonna have throughout the year, what people are gonna have, or their spouses or their families gonna incur. And, we incurred.
So we had a lot of incidents.
And this would be for all city, utilities, everybody that's covered.
All 100 and we're totally
And this is
covered.
life insurance, health
Spouse
insurance, dental.
Okay.
Families.
It's well over 110.
Okay.
In our police equipment, we don't typically budget that unless they have expenditures, and they did have some, so we put an amount in there to cover that. In our redevelopment, that is for some funding agreements that they signed that weren't originally budgeted for this year. If those don't get paid out this year, they'll be encumbered into next year, as
Is
long
that-
as they're under contract.
Shopping center on 50, is that part of that?
No.
No?
Well, the 840,000 has been encumbered the last 2 years because we haven't paid them anything
Right.
yet, but,
But that number's not in this number?
no.
Okay.
Any of the housing development grant, that's the grant we get with ARA that Victoria usually comes and talks about. This is just to cover those expenditures. It's all grant covered. In our fire donations, that's just to cover expenditures that the fire department uses that we don't typically budget. Local road matching grant, that's expenditures for the Ludlow Hill Street project. That was community crossings grant. Public facilities grant, that's the Gifford Adult Center grant. The donation, that's in there just in case you guys want to give out a donation. These last couple meetings, there haven't been any expenditures, but that's there just in case. And then the LCC grant, that's the expenditures for the HVAC project.
Paul, on the grants, on the grant ones, those were deposited into the funds with the grant money, and then we have to take it back out to appropriate it. It's not coming out of our money.
So that's not, okay. That goes in and comes out.
And at the end of 18, we didn't know what grants we would be awarded or how much the contracts would be, so it's, we have to do an assessment for that.
Now, the Fall Fest, the 78,000, non-reverting Fall Fest fund, why are we putting the 78,000 back in? Because,
We didn't. We took it out of the fund.
okay, we took it out. Yeah, I knew we took it out, but that, it should be replaced by the money coming in from Fall Fest, right?
They're broke.
It is now zero.
It's,
We're at zero on that
we're
fund.
at zero.
But isn't there still money owed Fall Fest?
No.
Not from the Carney, or?
Nope.
Holy Okay.
All right. Thank you.
That explains,
Yeah, it explains it, so here's my question.
yes.
I'm good with all of it, except, so on the, 300,000 on the first page, the municipal, I would like to see that itemized, that 300,000, and then when you go to the, capital outlay on the second page, 1.05 on the NR redevelopment, I'd like to see that itemized. The rest of it, I would okay it, and if you can get it by the next meeting, I would.
We would have to have this approved by the 14th? Before the 14th.
Mhm.
The next meeting is on the 16th.
They're due to the state by December the 14th.
Well, and the other thing is I've got a question. We're doing an awful lot of appropriating here, and I know it might be beating a dead horse, but if we can appropriate this much money, I don't know why we can't take care of this pole.
Here we go.
There's been an awful lot of
So much for a short
negotiating on
meeting.
it. There's been an awful lot of going back and forth. It's personally, I feel like that it's taken away from the ratepayers. I've said my piece on it, and we're appropriating this money, and it was said to us while we were talking about that we wouldn't have any money in this year for it. Got a lot of money here for other things. So I hope that the guys would back me on this, and I would like to add the pole and note that wooden pole's still on the corner, and we still haven't got the job done, but I want that bill paid because that is the ratepayers' money. That's me and your money, Tony.
True, Paul, but you had to have proof of the money that went out, and so far we haven't got that proof. We've asked for that
Well,
proof. It
well,
has
you
not
know,
there.
It's wow. I'm gonna vote.
Well, we're not gonna vote on this tonight if it's not gonna, we either vote on all of it or we don't vote on any of it tonight.
Okay, I'm just gonna stay here and be quiet then, cause I'm not gonna.
Can we not break down that 1.50?
If we break down the 300,000 and the one over 1 million for
That's
you,
what you're
would
asking.
that allow you to vote for
No,
this, or are you?
I want the utility bill paid too.
Paul,
That's not in
Paul,
here,
that
you're
ain't
not
got
gonna
nothing
vote
to do
for
with
this
this. We
either.
need to get these
Well,
other people
I
paid.
was told that we didn't have enough money to appropriate. We could not do that bill this year, and here I get.
That's not what you were told, Paul.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. That's not the reason that we can't pay the bill. And this is the second time you're holding something else up to try to get us to pay a bill that's illegal. That's not appropriate.
Okay, for tonight's purposes, then, we are gonna take a vote on this, and we'll see how the vote goes. And then we can't approve it tonight without unanimous vote, okay?
Mhm.
But we're gonna take a vote on it tonight and see how the vote goes, and then, if we have to have another meeting, we'll do so to get it approved, and in the meantime, they can break it down.
Fine.
Any other questions? I entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 18-2019, and the initial vote, provided it's unanimous, to approve it tonight. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
You've got to be kidding me.
You guys are ridiculous. All right, fails for lack of second. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Well, no, before that, I got a few questions. What are we gonna do about these community grants that we're supposed to be paying?
I guess they'll have to suffer because these guys want to make a statement.
We'll never get another grant. Lawrenceburg will never get another grant. We fought so hard to get those 2 grants. Fought hard. First time we've gotten them in years and years and years and years. You guys are blowing it right out the damn water. It's ridiculous.
Can I get a second to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, guys.